For 46 years, the official record said the 1980 Moscow Olympic boxing results were decided on merit, but the International Amateur Boxing Association made sure you'd never learn that at least 7 of those bouts were scored before the first bell ever rang. 7 fights, 7 men whose careers ended that summer, and a paper trail that 3 governing bodies spent the next 4 decades quietly burying. The 1980 Moscow Games were supposed to be boxing's showcase. The sport had given the world Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, all of them Olympic gold medalists first. In Moscow, 29 nations sent their best amateurs. The American team stayed home. The boycott. Everyone knows that part. What you were told is that the competition ran clean, that the judges scored on merit, that the gold medals went to the best men in each weight class. That's the story they tell. It isn't what happened. A Hungarian referee named Laszlo Burz filed a confidential report 6 weeks after the closing ceremony. He had judged 4 bouts in the light welterweight division. In his report, a document marked restricted and sealed inside the AIBA archive until 2019, he described a meeting. 3 nights before the quarterfinals, a room in the Ukraine hotel, 4 officials, a written list of names circulated on a single page, then collected before anyone left the room. The names on that list all won. Burz requested an internal investigation. He named the officials present. He listed the specific bouts he believed were predetermined. And then, very quietly, he was removed from the international judging panel. His license was not renewed. He died in 1994 with his report still sealed and his name unknown outside Budapest. But that's not the part they buried. Now here's where the obvious explanation fails. This wasn't Cold War corruption the way people assume. The Soviet bloc wasn't simply protecting Soviet fighters. Look at the names on Burz's list. 2 of them were Cuban. 1 was from East Germany. 1 was Polish. The fix wasn't nationalistic. It was transactional. Fights were being allocated not to countries but to specific officials who had arranged specific outcomes in exchange for guaranteed decisions in future international competitions. It was a futures market. In amateur boxing, and the AIBA knew, internal memos obtained through the 2019 archive release, buried in a digitization project the organization announced but never publicized, show that AIBA's executive committee received a summary of Burz's report in March 1981. They did not open an investigation. They did not contact Burz. What they did was authorize a formal letter to the Hungarian Boxing Federation describing Burz as, and I am reading this directly, temperamentally unsuitable for high-level officiating. 1 sentence. His entire testimony dismissed in 1 sentence, but the memos go further. Because in 1983, a second official, a West German judge named Klaus Merler, submitted a separate account. He hadn't attended the Ukraine hotel meeting. He'd heard about it secondhand, but he had independently noticed the same pattern Burz documented, judges conferring before bouts in ways that violated the separation protocol, scoring anomalies in specific weight classes that defied statistical probability. Merler's submission was logged, assigned a case number, and then the file was transferred to a subcommittee that, according to the archive, never once convened. 46 years, 2 independent accounts, 0 investigations. Here's what that cost. There is a fighter named Bashir Abdu from Algeria. He lost in the 1980 light welterweight semifinals by a single point. The man who beat him appears on Burz's list. Abdu never competed at another Olympics. He retired in 1982. He never turned professional. He is 68 years old. He does not know his name is in that report. Nobody told him. Nobody told any of them. The men whose careers ended in Moscow in the summer of 1980 were told they lost fair bouts. They were told to accept the result and train harder. Some of them did. Some of them walked away from the sport entirely. And the organization that held the document proving their losses may not have been legitimate kept it sealed for 4 decades and described the man who wrote it as temperamentally unsuitable. That's not obscurity. That's a decision. The AIBA was stripped of its status as the sport's governing body in 2019. the same year those memos became accessible. Olympic boxing has operated without an official governing body since then. A fact that rarely makes headlines, but that matters more than people realize, because it means there is no current authority with the standing to reopen the 1980 case. There is no one to go back. The 2019 digitization project that surfaced these memos was incomplete. The archive released roughly 40% of the documents flagged for review. The remainder are still sealed pending, in the organization's own words, administrative processing. They've been pending since 2021. Bashir Abdu lost his semifinal 46 years ago. Laszlo Burrs wrote his report 46 years ago. And somewhere in a digital archive controlled by an organization that no longer holds authority over the sport, there are documents that have not been released. What's in the other 60%?